Hello everyone out there in YouTube land, my name is Will, this is Will of the Nerds, and we're back with another deck tech video. And as you can see, last time we did mono green dinos, and in the same deck box I have red-white dinos. So we are just gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna do red, white, oops, not that, dinos. And casual as the usual. And we are going to start with the land base like we always do in these videos if you've seen them before. So we start out with the basic lands, which is going to be plains. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Probably going to have to put more lands into this. Not 9, not 98. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mountains. So let's do that. Enter, and then we have a playset of Boros Guild Gates. So let us type that in. Boros Guild Gate 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's change the set on that. It is one of the... Is it Guilds of Ravnica? That's half of them. We're just going to go with that. I'm not going to separate them. There we go. So that's 22. Okay, so that's not bad. That's a little more than I thought. My math was just off. All right. So, we're going to start and get right into this. Let me get a little comfortable and scoot the chair forward a little bit. You hear me creaking in the background. Okay. So, to start off, we have a burn spell. Pillar of Flame, and there it is right up front. This one's from Innistrad, so we're going to have to change the set on that. Avacyn Restored. Sorry. A Pillar of Flame deals 2 damage to target creature or player. If a creature dealt damage this way would die. This turn, exile it instead. Again, it's a burn spell. It's just a quick spell to get in and maybe do some damage if you have nothing else in hand to use or do. Okay. Next we have an enchantment. This enchantment costs a lot. Jesus. This could actually go pretty good in my red-white angel deck, to be honest. And I did have a red-white angel commander deck at one point that this probably would have been good in if I didn't have it in there before. All right, so we have Gleam of Battle. Whenever a creature you control attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. And you can see how much of a pain in the ass that could be. Bad thing is, it is 6 mana, so it's going to be a while before you can even cast it. All right, next we have a big part of the deck, which is Kinjali's Caller for 3 of. And as you can see, dinosaur spells cost 1 less to cast. She is 1 mana, so it's a nice 1-drop to have. And chances are she's going to get killed quickly, but as long as you can use at least one of her before she dies to get at least 1 dinosaur out, it's a big help. Because usually once you get 1 dinosaur out, it gets a little annoying, and then it'll just start to snowball there, especially if you can get land drop. All right, next we have Sky Terror. So on that last dinosaur deck we did, there was no creatures with flying, and I don't think anything had reach either. And this one's going to have a few things with flying or reach, I believe. And Sky Terror has flying and menace. So menace is what? Artifact creatures or creatures that share color with it? I think. I could be wrong. Or you need to... No, menace is what? 2 creatures. You need to have 2 creatures to block it. For a 2/2, that's kind of annoying. It's going to ping probably almost every time for 2 damage. And chances are later on in game they might let that one through to not take as much damage. And who knows, that could add up. Like, the 2 damage could add up pretty quickly. All right, next we have Territorial Hammer Skull for a 2 of. And whenever it attacks, tap target creature an opponent controls, which is nice. If they only have 1 creature, then you can tap it down and sneak in for 2 damage. That works. A nice little quick thing. And next we have, oops, not that, Sun Crowned Hunters, right? Sun Crowned Hunters, yes. This is 6 mana. What do you do? I do not remember. It has Enrage also. A lot of the creatures in the mono green one had Enrage. Well, not a lot of them, like 4 of them. But this one, whenever it deals damage, whenever it is dealt damage, it deals 3 damage to target opponent. Again, a nice trade with a bigger creature. Always good. Chump block, knowing that no matter what, if it chump blocks little things all day, it's going to do 3 damage on the back end, which is very nice. And it's something that your opponent would have to watch out for, and probably a creature that they would try to get rid of. And that's a common. That's actually, I mean, 6 mana common that does that. If it was rare, it'd maybe be one mana less, but what do I know? I am not R&D for Wizards of the Coast. All right, so we have Imperial Arisauru for 2, and it has flying, so that's our second creature with flying. When it enters the battlefield, another target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains flying until end of turn, which is, it's nice. If this thing had haste, it would be even nicer. I don't know if I have anything in this deck that gives creatures haste, but when it comes out, if you have a big creature that somebody can't block, if they have no flying creatures, it's nice. It'll get in and do a nice chunk of damage. All right, next we have Shining. Oops, it's only 1 N. Shining Arisauru for 2 of. It is 5 mana, 4 colorless, and 1 white for just a flying dinosaur. That's a 3/4. Yeah, it's a bit much. 5 mana for a 3/4 flying dinosaur, but it's a flying dinosaur, so you have a lot of protection in the air right now. That's 3 dinosaurs that can fly compared to the last deck that had none. And we're going to have our 4th flying creature here. We have Sun-Crested Pterodon for a 2 of. It has Vigilance as long as you control another dinosaur. Well, guess what? Almost everything in your deck is a dinosaur except for your Human Cleric that helps bring down the mana cost for your dinosaur. So chances are it's probably going to have Vigilance. And it has Flying, so that helps too. Alright, next we have Frilled Death Spitter for 2 of. When it is dealt damage, it deals 2 damage to target opponent. Again, if it chump blocks, even if you're attacking, it's at least, and none of the damage is going to go through, and it dies, you're still going to have at least 2 go through. Or if they're attacking you and you can chump block it, like chump block one of their small creatures, it's going to do 2 damage back to them. So, I mean, I kind of really like the Enrage thing. I think when this set first came out, I just kind of ignored it. I was looking more at the pirates, but the more like I went through my cards and looked, Dino Tribal, if you play it right, it can be a pain in the ass. And the tricolored dinosaur deck that I have, once it gets rolling, like if it's like turn 5 and that deck's rolling, forget about it. I think I've won almost every game with my tricolored dino deck once it gets going. I like if I get mana screwed, I'm obviously going to lose, and I think that's happened a couple times, but almost, I'd say about 90% of the times that tricolored dinosaur deck has won, because once it goes, there's nothing you can really do to stop it, because I'm just bringing big dinosaur out after big dinosaur, and your opponents don't have an answer for it. All right, next we have Needle Tooth Raptor for a 2 of. It has Enrage also. When it is dealt damage, it deals 5 damage to target creature an opponent controls. So that's a 2/2 for 4 mana. But it's also probably going to kill something. It's probably going to kill a flying creature too, so your flying creatures can go through. And especially if you can pay it for a little less, and this thing dies, and you do 5 damage to a flying creature, and you need a couple more to kill it, and you have a Pillar of Flame in your hand, kind of works, doesn't it? All right, next we have Bellowing Agassor. probably not saying that right. I don't think I'm saying that right. It's right there on top. This is 6 mana. It has Enrage also. When it is dealt damage, put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. I see why this is 6 mana. Jesus Christ. It's a 3/5. So if you're able to get like one more counter on this thing, everything you have is going to get big, especially if you have Kinjali's Collar. And I don't know if I have the red one in here that makes dinosaur cost cheaper or not. But that could be a pain. That could be a pain in the ass pretty freaking quick. It's like, oh, hello, you dealt damage to this. +1/+1 counter on my big flying creature that you have no way to stop because you have no flying creatures. Yeah. Pain in the ass real quick. Oops, that's not what I need. Dinosaur. Stampede. We have 2 of them. Attacking creatures get a +2/+0 until end of turn. Dinosaurs you control gain trample until end of turn. Well, they're all dinosaurs. So they're all going to get a +2/+0. Except for Kinjali's Collar, obviously. What is this here? When form of the dinosaur enters the battlefield, your life total becomes 15. At the beginning of your upkeep, form of the dinosaur deals 15 damage to target creature an opponent controls, and that creature deals damage equal to its power to you. Why? I think I've had this, and it's... I mean... I guess if you're low on life, I can see where that works. Like, I have 4 life. Well, now I have 15. And I'm dealing 15 damage to your annoying thing. I can see its place. I'm not a fan of it. It's just whatever. Forerunner. Oops, not that. Forerunner of the Empire. It is. I did spell it right the first time. I'm just stupid. We're going to throw 2 of them in here. All right, so what do? When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a dinosaur card, reveal it, shuffle your library, and put that on top of it. Whenever a dinosaur enters the battlefield under your control, you may have Forerunner of the Empire deal 1 damage to each creature. Okay, it's not really going to kill you or anything. Just be careful not to play multiple dinosaurs or you're going to kill certain things that you need. Poke, poke, nudge, nudge. All right. And we're pretty close to being done. Right, 51. All right, charging a Monstrosaur is next. Charging, I can't spell to save my life. Monstrosaur for a 2 of Trample and Haste for 5 mana. That's actually not bad. 5 mana for a 5/5 Trample Haste. Throw it down. It has Haste. Go right away, especially if you have some other big creatures to get some damage through. Or you play that, and if you have enough mana left over, play Dinosaur Stampede and give it an extra boost and attack with all your dinosaurs and do a whole lot of damage. All right, next we have... I can't spell. Kinjali's Sunwing for a 2 of. Creatures your opponent control enter the battlefield tapped. That is a nice card. It's not legendary, so you could play multiples if you know one's going to die, I guess. I don't know why I said that, but you can't tap your creature. You can't tap an opponent's creature down twice. Okay, so now we have charging... Oops, I hit the caps lock. Oopsies. Charging... Tuscadon for a 2 of. If charging Tuscadon will deal combat damage to a player, it deals double that damage to a player instead. So it's basically double strike if it hits the opponent. Why they just didn't give a double strike, I don't know. Or why that's not an enrage ability. You think that would just be an enrage ability at that point, but whatever. All right, next we have Burning Sun's Avatar for a 2 of. It enters the battlefield. It deals 3 damage to target opponent and 3 damage to up to 1 target creature. Why? I feel like they worded that wrong. So you can only do 3 damage to 1 creature. Why did they just not say that? All right, and we have one card left over. I do have one Boros Charm in here. I think because I didn't have anything else to fill it out, but I know I have more Kinjali's Collar. So I'd do a playset of Kinjali's Collar just to round it out to 60. That way you know you have it. We have 32 creatures, 2 sorceries, 2 instants, and 2 enchantments. Go to the details here. What is the most expensive card here? Kinjali's Sunwing for like, okay, almost $2 a piece. $25 altogether. Again, come up here and look. That's 13. Well, that's not 13, is it? 7, 7, 14, 15. This is a $10 deck. Huh. I don't think this is the cheapest deck I have. I think I have a deck that's $5. But there you go. If you want a $10 deck, there you go. It's all Ixalan and Rivals of Ixalan dinosaurs too. 2 rare cards. There aren't some bad cards in there, to be honest. I don't think there is. Visual spoilers again. There you go. And we can look at the starting hand here. New hand. That's a lot better. So we don't have to tap for anything, or we don't have a dual land yet. So a mountain, draw a card, mountain, draw a card, plain, draw a card. Play your mountain. What can you get away with? 3 mana. You need white mana for that. And that's not a dinosaur spell. So, I would probably just go with Forerunner of the Empire and search for a dinosaur that you want. I don't know what you would search out. Let's look. Kinjali's Sunwing. I would probably go with Bellowing Agassor. Try to get that on the battlefield quick to try to just pump your dinosaurs. So, yeah. Bellowing Agassor. Search that. Add a new card. I mean, now you can play it. Play Kinjali this. Then play this for 2 mana. And then this will enter and it'll deal 1 damage to target creature, right? Deal 1 damage to each creature. So, yeah, that's fine. All of your stuff would live. This will live through the turn. And guess what? Whenever it's dealt damage, it deals 2 damage to opponent. So you're getting 2 damage in right there. All right, so you add another card. I don't know what you play here, because you only have 1 white mana. I would maybe play Imperial Arisauru, to be honest. When it enters the battlefield, target creature gets a +1/+1 and gains flying until end of turn. The only other dinosaur you have, or the only other creature to put it on would be this one. So it's going to get 1 damage because of this. You're going to hit for 2 damage, and then you're going to swing in for 7 damage in the air. Yeah, 7 damage in the air. And they're probably going to let the 3/3 go through. I don't know. They might let Frilled Death Spitter get through, because if they do any damage to it, they're going to take an extra 2 on top of it. So they'll probably block that if they can. All right, so we have 3 red mana, but we can't play that. We have 2 red mana. We have 4 mana to play this. So you can play Charging Tuscadon. That'd probably be a smart idea. You'd be able to play that too. I would probably play this. You do have a flying creature. Still waiting to play that. And then, let's see. You can play this for 3. You're still kind of short. You still need that mana. But chances that you're going to shuffle your deck after this. So you might have drawn a mana by now. A Sky Terror, play it. Dinosaur comes out. Again, that's Frilled Death Spitter is going to take a damage. You're going to inflict 2 damage. And then I would hold off. I wouldn't really do anything. You're just paying at this point. Yeah, I'd play Suncrested Pterodon. It has Vigilance. A dinosaur enters, doing a damage to everything. And 2 damage again. So you've done 2, 4, 6 damage just from this, plus swinging in and probably getting at least 6 more. So they've taken 12 damage. So they've taken a decent amount of damage by turn 8, which isn't bad. All right, so now you got this. You have your mana here. Do we have enough to play this? So it's going to 2 generic, which will be your 2 white. Yep, and 3. I would play this, honestly. It's going to deal 3 damage to your opponent and 3 damage to a creature. So you can... well, let's see here. Let's see here. 3. So it's going to do 3 damage to your opponent. So that's 15 damage. A dinosaur entered. It's going to do 1 damage to all of your creatures, which means your opponent's going to take another 2 damage, which is 17. I would have the 3 damage dealt to itself, or, yeah, 3 damage dealt to itself, because it won't die. And, right? Oh, no. Then, because you can do 3 damage to Frilled Death Spitter. And, yeah, you know what? That works. Do 3 damage to Frilled Death Spitter. It would kill it, but you do 2 damage, and they'd probably be down to 1 or 2 life. Because next turn, you can play this. When it's dealt damage, it deals 3 damage to target opponent. And I think this would take effect, right? When it enters battlefield, research your library. Whenever a dinosaur enters the battlefield under your control, you may have deal 1 damage to each creature. Yeah, so it's going to enter. A dinosaur enters. It's going to do 1 damage to everything, 1 damage to itself, causing 3 damage, and you're probably going to win. That enrage ability is a bit of a pain in the ass, isn't it? I feel like if you made the right deck and you just made like a mono red enraged dinosaur deck, it could probably get pretty annoying, because there is a red a collar card, I guess, to help reduce dinosaur mana cost. I might actually look into doing that. Just a mono red enraged dinosaur deck with like Burning Sun's Avatar and Charging Tuscadon, because why not? And Forerunner of the Empire. Search for those creatures to get them in your hand. And we'll look at the probabilities, but that will end this video. So if you guys could please like, subscribe, share, hit that bell icon. That way you get notified every time I upload a new video. You can follow me over on Facebook and Twitter. The links to those are in the description. And with that, I'll see you guys on the next one.